What can you see happening in Russia and so-called developed countries in terms of recruitment policy in politics? How is the personnel formed? It is formed in accordance to the congeneric principle. You can go up there only if you have some links to relatives, connections, or friendship, or good recommendations. Knowledge does not matter. Everything is based on money. It is not only in Russia. The same thing is happening in the West, China, India, and so on. Although there is some difference in China, in the Celestial Empire, a person could come to the emperor and tell him that he could solve the problem. The emperor would say, "Okay, do it." The person tries and fails. The emperor says, "See, you promised and failed. You will be beheaded." And that happened again and again, until they would find someone else who managed to cope with the problem. Recently, different people have asked us questions about revival of monarchy in Russia. We keep answering that we are aware of such variants, but we do not believe they are possible, and give our reasons for that. There is a phenomenon called sacredness of authority power. If authority power is in possession of this sacredness, then the representatives of this authority power do not have to seek the limelight or hype their projects. The society accepts these projects as something of their own and show enthusiasm in implementing them in life. Those people who are interested in the history of Russia and the USSR may see that the sacredness of authority power disappeared long before the October Revolution of 1917. Revolution is actually the consequence when the sacredness of this or that authority power is gone. The royal family of the Romanovs did much to bring down their power. In 1861, the Tsar Alexander II cancelled the law of serfdom and corporal punishment. 2 years from that time, the mayor of St. Petersburg visited one of the city prisons. In that prison, one of the prisoners refused to remove his hat to greet the mayor, and the latter ordered to flog this convict for that. If the Tsar Alexander II somehow had condemned the action of the mayor for breaking the law, then I think the Tsar might have stayed alive and would not have been assassinated. But Alexander did not react to this anyhow. The information about the punished convict spread very quickly in all the prisons, and the process of disaffection began. So if the authority power does not follow its laws, then revolution is inevitable. Before the revolution of 1917, the authority power was considered to be given by God, and according to the Church, the Tsar was anointed of the Lord. Every Tsar assured that he served his people, and only his confidants were bad and acted against his people. Those who are interested in the Russian history may notice that after the revolution, the sacredness of authority power suddenly returned. It doesn't matter what the liberal press writes about Stalin, about so-called dictatorship, camps, and so on and so forth. In the time of Stalin, people showed real enthusiasm during work. Nowadays, the mass media never talks about it. But the mass media do not belong to common people. Although 20 years after the October Revolution, there was an inquiry among the Soviet population in 1937, which showed that less than 1% of the population were nostalgic about the monarchy. People were glad to have forgotten those times. Nowadays, the Church sometimes say that the Russian people have betrayed their Tsar. It is nonsense. Common people did nothing to be blamed for. The Tsar divested himself from authority, and that was followed by revolution and civil war. And the upheaval was not organized by common people in the first place. It was done by the liberals. Now the liberals want to restore monarchy in Russia because they realize that they could never return to rule like they did in 1990s before the year 2000. But unfortunately, the liberals have total control over the mass media in Russia. It may sound strange, but Putin does not control a single newspaper, magazine or TV channel in Russia to be able to put forward a proper policy which is in conformity with interests and wishes of the people.